Hey fam, what is up? We are back with another training this week. For those of you who are new here, I'm Victoria and I'm a health and fitness coach. I help women build their bodies with confidence in and out of the gym without sacrificing their favorite foods or their social lives. So let's dive into it. This week we're going to be talking on everything revolving around habits, right? Why your habits may be killing your fat loss results, right? And I've seen this time and time again, but I'm going to start out with a story. So, when I was in college, I was very into health and fitness, right? And this was after my eating disorder years when I was a lot better with my eating habits. I was running still, going to the gym pretty often. Um, a junior year of college, I actually started working at a gym, and that was cool too. But the kicker here is that I was doing all these things for my health and fitness, but none of my habits were matching up with the things that I wanted to create for my lifestyle, right? My ultimate goal from the start of developing a passion for health and fitness was to make it part of my lifestyle, not make it my whole lifestyle. Now, I was not making it either of those things. I was doing the exercises, I was eating the foods. Maybe some of the times I was not eating well. I was getting pizza every weekend. When I was drunk, I was drinking 3 times a week. I was not sleeping, going to bed at like 2 a.m. most nights on the weekends, and then waking up at like 8, trying to go force myself into a workout after that. I wasn't developing the habits that I needed to be the person that I wanted to become. And I'll say that again. I didn't have the habits that I needed in order to be the person that I wanted to become, right? And at the end of the day, you can do all the things, you can take all the actions, but if your habits don't align with those actions, then it's going to be really hard for you to stick to things in the long run, right? Like, how long do you think I could have gone down the path of drinking myself to sleep every weekend? That sounds like I'm an alcoholic, but I was in college, okay, guys? Like, I was at Rutgers, and I was partying a lot more than usual, was my point. And how long could I have gone down that path without it becoming way more than it was, right? Without it becoming a big barrier in my health and fitness journey, which it did become that, right? Because I wasn't seeing many results if I wasn't eating well 3 out of the 7 days of the week and drinking thousands of calories and alcohol 3 out of the 7 days of the week, right? Those habits weren't aligning with what I wanted to create in my lifestyle. So when senior year of college rolled around, I mean, it was all my friends' senior years. It was my second to last year. I did a 5th year. So I told myself, you know what? Like, I'm kind of done with this. Like, drinking didn't make me feel good. It didn't make me excited. It made me so lethargic the next day. It made me not want to get up and do my workout or my schoolwork for that matter. It wasn't even just about the fitness side of things. And I got to the point where I was so fed up. I'm like, you know what? I am going to do a whole month of no drinking. And it was to develop a habit because it takes 21 days to build a habit. Some may say more, I say more, to be honest. But the standard statistics say it takes 21 days to build a habit. And if I wanted to build the habit of not drinking every weekend, I needed to make sure that I did it for a consecutive amount of time. So I did it. And long story short, a lot of people did not agree with my habits. And the reason why I say this, the reason why I bring that up, is because a lot of times we have habits are due to the people-pleasing features that come with those habits, and also the way of wanting to be able to fit in, right? Because how many times do we go to our friends and tell them, hey, I'm trying to eat better, I'm trying to go work out, and they influence us to do the complete opposite, right? Probably more times than we'd like. And that's okay because, you can make decisions for yourself, but it's not okay if those decisions you make are always based off of what other people want you to make, right? So developing those habits, being able to say no to things when you don't want to do them or when they don't suit your goals could be the number one reason you see results, right? Because you said no to those things once in a while. And this isn't to say that you have to make it a whole big 180, right? It's about developing habits that are going to help you do these things in the long term without falling into that pattern of stopping and starting again, right? Because I could say confidently that if I took a week off of the gym, that I'd have no problem going back to it. But if someone who just started their fitness journey a week ago took a week off from the gym, would you think that they're super confident in going back to it? No, because they haven't developed that habit yet, right? And it takes time to develop those habits. So reason why I share this with you guys was because there were a couple different things that helped me to put these things in place, right? So the first one was the no drinking for 30 days. And the reason why I did that was to develop the habit, right? That was the first habit I did develop, because then once I did want to go out with my friends and I did want to go drink or go to the bars, that I would be able to do it and not do it compulsively, not do it super consistently. And I wouldn't fall back into the old habits of going out 3 days a week, right? Or going to get pizza 3 days a week after I'm out at a date or something, you know? So it was helping me in more ways than one. And then the second habit I developed was something as simple as going to bed at a certain time, right? Because for me, I am very like schedule oriented. I'm very like routine based. So when I have my routine down pat, I feel like I can stick to things better. Some people are more like, we have to plan as the day goes on, and that is totally okay. But I like my routines. So I would set a bedtime. I'd go to bed at 10 p.m. every night so that I would make sure that I could get up pretty efficiently by like 6 or 7 a.m., depending on what my schedule was that day, right? And in order to do that, I know in order to get my 8 hours of sleep, I know I needed to go to bed at that bedtime, right? So that's one thing that helped me so much too, was like making sure I was prioritizing my sleep. I was putting in place the habits that I needed in order to become the person that I wanted to become, right? Because I can't show up as my best self if I'm hungover and lethargic the next day, right? No, I can't. So sometimes we do need to sacrifice those things that we so badly want to do, but we know that they won't necessarily support us in the long run. And you don't have to give them up forever. It's just the times that you feel like you need to say no. Don't be afraid to say no. Because I can't tell you how many times people judged me and looked at me weird when I didn't want to go out to the bars on a Tuesday night. Because maybe I had an exam the next day, or maybe I had a class the next day that I didn't want to miss, right? But everyone looks at you weird if you tell them that you want to go to the gym the next day, right? So it comes with the territory of being okay with some people not always being okay with your decisions. And you know, if they are real friends, they are going to support you in the long run. They are going to stick by your side and help you develop and establish those habits that you need to help you in the long run, right? So, third habit that really helped me was drinking water. I was so bad at drinking water in college. I would sit there like dehydrated all day long. So I got myself one of these big water bottles. It didn't look like this, but it was like about 30 or 40 ounces. And I would fill that up I would finish one for a week, and then I would move on to two for a week until I got to a certain point where I was doing that consistently. And I can't tell you how long that habit stuck with me, because still to this day, I do that so much. Like, I'll be like, okay, I haven't finished my water bottle. Like, let me finish this one, go fill up another one. And then I have to finish that by like 8 p.m. And then I know I'll be good for my water goal, right? Like, I knew that it was like, that if I kept doing it, it would stick with me in the long run. And it has. I bring my water bottle everywhere with me. It's like my child. So being able to establish those habits has like really, really helped. And if you don't feel like you can do that for like every single day of the week, like say you want to build a habit of moving your body, right, every day, but you're not ready for that everyday period because you're like, I know that if I do it every day, I won't do it. It's too unrealistic for me. Start out with like 2 to 3 days, right? Make your goal. I want to move my body 2 to 3 days a week for the next month. 2 to 3 days a week, you move your body, you build that habit, and you continue to do it. You continue to practice it, and you continue to stick to it. And that's how you're going to start to build these habits that are going to help you make this a lifestyle in the long run, right? Think about how long those habits will stick with you. I don't know what got me into my daily walking habits, but I think it was during COVID 2020. I started going on walks every day because what the heck else was there to do, right? So I was like, I'm just going to start walking. And still to this day, I do it because it was like so engraved in my day-to-day routine, because it was easy for me to get done during that time because there was not much to do. We were all on lockdown. The only thing to do was really like go outside. But like still to this day, that really helped me. So I'm proud of those habits that I've established. And you never know when those good times will be that you can start to practice those, and you'll be like, wow, like I could really look back on this and say like, I thank myself for this because this is helping me be the person that I want to become, right? And just like our mindset habits, just like our other little habits that don't have to do with working out, right? How we start our mornings. If you start your morning wake up, roll over, and look at your phone, start scrolling right away, do you really think that that's the optimal way to start your day to get you energized and ready for the day? Probably not, right? So maybe finding a routine that's going to work really well for you and help you be the person you want to be that day, that morning, that's going to get you energized and pumped up for the day. Whether that's blasting music, whether that's going outside and getting some sunlight, whether that's writing out your plans for the day and your to-do lists and getting those things done, drinking your cup of coffee, whatever it is that helps you feel excited for the day, that helps you get in the zone for the day. These are the things that we want to think about, right? We don't want to kill our fat loss results by developing all these really bad habits, going out every weekend and partying, but you want to lose fat, but 3 out of the 7 days of the week or 2 out of the 7 days of the week, you're drinking your calories all day, and then at night you're having the munchies every night, right? It's okay if you do that once in a while. It's okay if this happens occasionally, but every weekend is when it's going to start to kill your fat loss results, right? So we want to be able to develop those habits that are going to stick with us in the long term, that are very simple for us to do. Maybe they're not simple at first, and that's okay. If it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you, right? But simple enough that we can practice these every day and put them into place to become the person that we want to become, right? So let me ask you this, and I want you guys to write this out after you watch this training. What are 3 habits that you want to get better at and make a priority in order to become the person that you want to be? And start with one of those 3 things, right? Once you really nail down that one thing, then move on to the next thing. And then once you nail down both of those things together, then move on to the 3rd thing, right? Because we don't want to take a complete 180 turn and try and establish all of these habits at once, because then we're going to get overwhelmed and then we're not going to want to do all of them. The way I do this with my clients is one thing at a time, one day at a time, 1 week at a time. We want to put this first habit into place before we move on to the next one, so that way we can start to be better and get better and show up better and believe in ourselves more. All these habits have such a big role in how we show up for ourselves during the day and how we show up for others during the day. So write out those 3 habits. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'm so excited for you to try it out. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you want my fat loss guide, my hourglass blueprint on how to get started with your fat loss results, drop a comment below and I'll also send you that your way. All right, I'll see you guys soon.